Welcome everyone. Today we're diving into one of the most fundamental aspects of educational therapy, understanding how children learn. Before we get into teaching methods, worksheets, or classroom strategies, it's crucial to explore something deeper, how a child's mind develops. If we skip the step, teaching becomes a bit like trying to fix a machine without knowing how it works. You might press buttons or swap out parts, but you're mostly guessing. Many teachers, often unknowingly, teach this way, focusing on more homework, more memorization, and more repetition without asking the most important question: why is the child struggling in the first place? Educational therapy starts with a different mindset. Instead of asking, how can I make the child work harder, we ask, what is happening inside the child's brain that makes learning difficult? This shift in thinking is at the heart of effective teaching. It's about looking beneath the surface and understanding the real reasons behind a child's struggles. When we do this, we can support children in ways that truly make a difference, rather than just piling on more work. Common misconception is that children who struggle in school are less intelligent, but modern cognitive science tells us that's rarely the case. Many children with academic difficulties actually have normal or even high intelligence. The real issue often lies in underdeveloped or inefficient cognitive systems. To illustrate, think of a modern computer. It might have a powerful processor, but if the RAM is weak or the hard drive is slow, performance suffers. Similarly, a child may have strong reasoning skills, but if working memory or attention is weak, learning becomes a challenge. Let's dig deeper into the computer analogy. Imagine a computer with a strong processor but weak RAM or a slow hard drive. Even if the main processor is excellent, the computer will still struggle with tasks. In the same way, a child's brain might be capable, but if certain cognitive systems like working memory or attention are weak, the child will have trouble learning. This analogy helps us see that academic struggles are often about how the brain systems work together, not just about intelligence. Children with strong reasoning skills can still struggle if certain cognitive systems are weak. For example, weak working memory, poor attention control, slow processing speed, or weak language processing can all make learning difficult. These weaknesses may make a child appear lazy or careless, even when they are trying their best. Educational therapy aims to identify and address these hidden weaknesses, rather than just focusing on surface behaviors. Many classrooms, children who struggle are often labeled as lazy, careless, or not paying attention. But these labels usually miss the real problem. For instance, if a teacher gives a four-step instruction and a child only completes the first step, it might not be because the child isn't listening. Instead, the child may have weak working memory and simply can't hold all the steps at once. Recognizing this difference is key to supporting students effectively. Imagine a teacher says, take your English book, open to page 36, underline the verbs, and write 3 sentences. That's 4 steps. Some children complete the task easily, but others may only take the book and stop. The teacher might think the child isn't listening, but the real issue could be weak working memory. The child heard all the instructions but couldn't hold them in mind long enough to finish. This isn't laziness, it's a cognitive limitation. An educational therapist recognizes the difference between a child who is not trying and a child who is struggling due to cognitive limitations. Instead of blaming the child, the therapist looks for the underlying cause and designs strategies to help. This approach is more compassionate and effective, leading to better outcomes for students. Let's look at some common cognitive difficulties that can affect learning. These include weak working memory, poor language processing, immature executive function, and poor attention control. Each of these areas plays a unique role in how children process information and succeed in school. Understanding these difficulties helps teachers and therapists provide the right support. Working memory is like a mental sticky note. It temporarily holds information while the brain is using it. For example, when solving a math problem like 23 plus 18, the child must remember the sum of 3 plus 8, write down the 1, and carry the 1. If working memory is weak, the child may forget the carry number or lose track of the steps, even if they understand the concept. This leads to mistakes that aren't about intelligence, but about holding information long enough to use it. Language processing is how efficiently the brain understands language. Some children hear words clearly but process them slowly or inaccurately. For example, if a teacher says, before recess, please submit your science worksheet, a child with weak language processing might misunderstand and submit it after recess. This also affects reading comprehension. Children may read words fluently but not grasp their meaning, leading to confusion and weak understanding. Consider a child reading, the farmer harvested the crops before the storm arrived. The child may read every word correctly but not understand what harvested means or why the farmer acted before the storm. This shows how language processing affects comprehension. It's not enough to read words, understanding their meaning is crucial for learning. Executive functions are like the brain's management system. They help us plan, organize, and control behavior. Children with weak executive function may forget homework, lose pencils, start tasks but not finish them, or struggle with routines. For example, a child might bring the wrong books to school every day. The issue isn't irresponsibility, it's weak organizational skills in the brain. Educational therapists often teach strategies to strengthen executive function. This might include using checklists, organizing materials, or practicing routines. By targeting these skills, therapists help children become more independent and successful in school. It's about building the brain's management system, not just telling children to be more responsible. Attention is the ability to focus on what's important and ignore distractions. In a classroom, distractions can come from noise, classmates' movement, or even a child's own thoughts. Some children have trouble filtering out these distractions. For example, while the teacher explains multiplication, a child might notice a bird outside, a friend whispering, or someone sharpening a pencil. Their attention jumps from one thing to another, making it hard to learn. Later, a teacher might think the child wasn't listening, when in reality, the child simply couldn't sustain attention. This misunderstanding can lead to frustration for both the teacher and the student. Recognizing the difference between willful behavior and cognitive limitations is essential for effective support. Children's brains don't develop all at once. Different abilities mature at different ages. For example, language develops rapidly between ages 2 and 6, executive function continues improving into early adulthood, and logical reasoning strengthens during middle childhood. This means teachers must consider a child's developmental readiness when planning lessons and expectations. Expecting a 5-year-old to sit quietly and focus for an hour may be unrealistic. Their brains may not yet have the attention capacity required. Educational therapists study developmental patterns to design learning experiences that match a child's current stage of development. This approach helps set realistic goals and supports children where they are. Understanding cognitive development helps answer many classroom mysteries. For example, why can a 4-year-old believe in magic? Why do some children struggle with multi-step instructions? Why can some children read words but not understand their meaning? These questions often have answers rooted in the stages of brain development. Young children often believe that toys are alive, cartoons are real, or animals can talk. This is because their brains are still developing logical reasoning. At this stage, imagination and perception dominate their thinking. As children grow, logical reasoning becomes stronger and these magical beliefs fade. Some children struggle with multi-step instructions because of working memory limitations. They may only remember 1 or 2 steps at a time. Educational therapists can help by breaking tasks into smaller steps, writing instructions on the board, or using visual reminders. These strategies make it easier for children to follow along and succeed. Some children can read words fluently but struggle to understand their meaning. This happens when decoding skills develop faster than comprehension abilities. Reading involves recognizing letters, blending sounds, understanding vocabulary, and connecting ideas. If vocabulary and background knowledge are weak, comprehension will also be weak. Educational therapists don't just give extra worksheets. Instead, they analyze the underlying cognitive processes. For example, if a child struggles with spelling, the therapist asks if the problem is due to weak phonological awareness, poor memory for letter patterns, or weak visual processing. Once the root cause is identified, targeted exercises can be designed for more effective support. This approach is much more effective than simply repeating the same tasks. By focusing on the root cause of learning difficulties, educational therapists can help children make real progress. It's about working smarter, not just harder, and ensuring that every child gets the support they need to succeed. Imagine a doctor treating patients without understanding human biology. The doctor might randomly prescribe medicine and hope something works, which would be dangerous. Similarly, teaching without understanding cognitive development leads to ineffective instruction. Teachers may try more homework, stricter discipline, or longer study hours, but if the root cognitive problem isn't addressed, the child will continue to struggle. Educational therapy replaces guesswork with a scientific understanding of learning. By studying how the brain develops and functions, therapists can design interventions that truly help children. This approach leads to better outcomes and more meaningful progress for students who struggle. Sum up: children do not fail because they are lazy. They struggle because certain cognitive systems are not yet strong enough to support learning. When we identify and strengthen these systems, learning becomes much easier. This is the mission of educational therapy, to help every child reach their full potential by understanding and supporting their unique cognitive development. Cognitive development refers to how a child's thinking, problem-solving, and understanding grow over time. It includes skills like memory, attention, language, and reasoning. These abilities develop at different rates and are influenced by both biology and environment. Understanding cognitive development helps teachers and therapists support children more effectively. Knowing about cognitive development is essential for anyone working with children. It helps explain why some children learn quickly while others need more support. By understanding the stages and processes of development, educators can create learning environments that match each child's needs and abilities. Teaching without understanding cognitive development is like trying to repair a machine without knowing how it works. You might get lucky sometimes, but most of the time you're just guessing. When we understand how the mind develops, we can make informed decisions and provide the right support at the right time. Many teachers unknowingly rely on guesswork. They try more homework, more memorization, or more repetition, hoping something will work. But without understanding the root cause of a child's struggle, these efforts often fall short. Educational therapy offers a more targeted and effective approach. Instead of asking how to make a child work harder, educational therapists ask what's happening inside the child's brain. This shift in focus helps uncover hidden cognitive weaknesses and leads to more effective support. It's about understanding the real reasons behind learning difficulties. Academic struggles are rarely about intelligence. Many children who find school difficult are just as intelligent as their peers. The real issue is often underdeveloped cognitive systems, such as working memory, attention, or language processing. Recognizing this helps teachers avoid unfair labels and provide better support. Analogies like comparing the brain to a computer help make complex ideas easier to understand. Just as a computer needs all its parts to work well, a child's brain needs all its cognitive systems to function efficiently. Weakness in one area can affect overall performance even if other areas are strong. Educational therapists focus on identifying hidden cognitive weaknesses. By understanding which systems are underdeveloped, they can design targeted interventions. This approach is more effective than simply increasing workload or discipline as it addresses the real barriers to learning. Labels like lazy or slow learner often ignore the real problem. When a child struggles to follow instructions or complete tasks, the issue may be cognitive, not motivational. Understanding this helps teachers respond with empathy and effective strategies rather than frustration or blame. When a teacher gives a multi-step instruction, some children may only complete the first part. This isn't because they aren't listening, but because their working memory can't hold all the steps. Recognizing this allows teachers to adjust their instructions and provide the support children need to succeed. Educational therapists play a crucial role in identifying and addressing cognitive weaknesses. They use assessments and observations to understand each child's unique needs. By focusing on the underlying causes of learning difficulties, therapists can design interventions that truly help children progress. Every child is different, and cognitive development varies from one individual to another. By understanding these differences, teachers and therapists can create inclusive classrooms where all students have the opportunity to succeed. It's about meeting children where they are and helping them grow. Educational therapists study developmental patterns to design learning experiences that match each child's stage of growth. This ensures that expectations are realistic and support is appropriate. By aligning teaching with development, we can help children build strong foundations for future learning. Many common classroom questions, like why young children believe in magic or why some students struggle with instructions, can be answered by understanding cognitive development. This knowledge empowers teachers to respond effectively and compassionately to their students' needs. By analyzing cognitive processes, educational therapists can design interventions that address the root causes of learning difficulties. This targeted approach is more effective than simply increasing practice or discipline. It helps children overcome barriers and achieve their full potential. Educational therapy replaces guesswork with scientific understanding. By studying how the brain develops, therapists can make informed decisions and provide the right support. This leads to more effective teaching and better outcomes for students. The mission of educational therapy is to help children succeed by identifying and strengthening the cognitive systems that support learning. By focusing on each child's unique needs, therapists and teachers can make a real difference in their students' lives. This approach transforms struggles into opportunities for growth. To wrap up, remember, children do not fail because they are lazy. They struggle because certain cognitive systems are not yet strong enough to support learning. When we identify and strengthen these systems, learning becomes much easier. This is the core message of educational therapy and the foundation for effective teaching.